in Italy, we are constantly in touch, our organization that provide assistance to migrants and refugees, but it is very important to have an international level and to open to an
Can you
international
speak closer?
level.
Thank you.
Okay, it's better? Oh, okay. Yes, today we received so many inputs, especially from the past panel, so I try to remain on the title of this panel that is very, very important, especially for a job as Open Arms and other NGOs are conducting in these years. The title is Humanitarian Assistance and Human Rights. And I want to start to say that these two words represent a very important, the two main topics when we talk about migrants and when we talk about the how to assist and how to provide assistance to migrants. And these two terms are very strictly connected. As humanitarian, but I want also to stress my attention to what is the sense and the meaning of the humanitarian, to be a humanitarian worker, because when we talk about migrants and refugees, sometimes we forget which is the work of humanitarian operators and who provide assistance to people. Especially as the NGOs that provide assistance to the people in need in the Central Med. During the last 7 years, we faced with several attacks from our politicals at Italian level, but also at European levels. So I think that we are working in a very, very critical scenarios. We operate in order to rescue people in need in all parts of the world, especially as Open Arms in the Central Med. And we do it because it is an international duty. But for the people who receive our support, it is a right, and sometimes we forget that for them is a human right, and it is the right to be rescued. As our colleagues told today during the first panel, when we use the word migrant, we forget from where the words come from, and we use it having a bad connotation. And in this way, we forget that there are people in need and people that carry the right to be rescued, especially when we talk about people that cross the Central Med. In the Central Med that now is called and is compared to a cemetery, because during the last 20 years, more than 30,000 people lost their life. We don't know how many they are, because as IOM remember every day to us, we talk about people that lose their life for sure in that route, but there are a number that we don't know, we are not able to quantify, that is that of missing people, and it is very important. So during these 6 months of the years in 2023, we just calculate 2,000 people that lost their life in this route. And as Open Arms, for instance, we were able to save only 200 people of this. But we constantly be accused to be traffickants, also if we are in 2023. It's funny, I know, but if you open an Italian newspaper, every time they talk about when they talk about migrants, they talk in migration topic, they talk about our job in a very, very bad way. So I think that we are constantly criminalized without consider what we do, because we rescue people and we try to save life every day. I'm sorry, but I prepared a speech, but I don't want to repeat what our colleagues already told. Before, when we talk about the journalist roles, you talk about the propaganda, and it is still ongoing. And during the last 3 years, 4 years, this propaganda didn't stop at a journalist level, but became, as Luca told, became a very bad law, and bad law that create a lot of obstacles also to our job, because I just want to remember that now, not the law, the last two laws on migration, but in Italy now we are working on emergency situation. That is, emergency situation is the definition adopted by the government. And for this measure, when we, as a humanitarian organization, when we rescue people in need, and we conduct the operation, we receive immediately a port of disembark, but it is very, very far from the area where we conduct this operation. So we take, in order to arrive to this port, it takes 4 or 5 days. For example, last week, we did this operation and we rescue 147 people. And in 5 days, we arrived to the port of disembark. So it means that we stay out of the international area where the main people, the operation are conducted. We stay out for 11 days in order to approach and in order to arrive to the port of disembark and go back. Now, in this moment, we are sailing to the international waters. That, I repeat, it is the area where a lot of people face with critical situation, and the distress are happening. Just to conclude, in order to conclude, when we talk about humanitarian assistance and humanitarian rights, and we put these two words in the advocacy measure, I think that we have to be able, without repeating what we already told during the last panel, we have to be able to approach this topic in a very human rights view, because sometimes when we talk about at the international level about migrants and migration measure, we forget that we have to be human rights oriented. These have to be human rights oriented. So we have to be able to manage this phenomenon because it is very important. So we have to talk about integration, we have to talk about all these topics, but what have to orient our actions are the human rights. And one of the main human rights is, yes, to protect life, but is also to guarantee to the people to the possibility to move from their house in order to know what happened out to the border, but also in order to ask for protection and to apply for asylum. So I think it's important that our voice as humanitarian workers has to be listened by the international authorities. And as Open Arms, together with other search and rescue organization, every month we send a report to the European Parliament in order to report what we see in the Central Med, in order also to suggest some new measure or some measure in order to protect life in this route. Thank you. I'm sorry if I take some more than 5 minutes.
Thank you.